Hey there, Jonathan Wolf with UTime Coaching. And so today I want to just talk a little bit about um, comfort and the worlds that we kind of create around ourselves to maintain that comfort, to create that comfort, um, and to sustain it. So obviously, comfort for a lot of people is something that we strive for or that we kind of fall back into. Um, but there's always kind of an action and a reaction. So if you kind of look at this in that framework, that when you're feeling uncomfortable or you're experiencing some type of discomfort and stress, that a normal response is A, to go into fight or flight, um, and but the flight part of it, in a lot of ways, especially with society now versus caveman days and saber-tooth tigers and real danger versus fear, um, we uh, we want to revert back to a state of comfort, and so we do things to allow for that. And some people, especially now with the stay-at-home orders and them loosening in different states, um, that staying at home in some ways was comfortable for people. You didn't have to see other people. You didn't have to present yourself in a certain way. The social dynamic was different. So some of the threats and some of the social anxieties or the social comparison, um, it was just kind of left up to Facebook and social media to keep doing the comparisons. But you didn't have to put yourself out there in front of other people in a physical way. Um, so a lot of people, they find that type of piece, that type of thing comfortable. And so, it might be eating, it could be video games, watching TV, um, and, constantly picking up new shows, lounging around in, PJs or sweats for the entire day. Um, Regardless of what that is, we all have our own ways to make ourselves feel comfortable when we're feeling discomfort. And so, when I was in my sports psychology program, one of the dynamics that I thought was interesting is the profile of someone that avoids failure and the profile of someone that pursues success. Um, and there are fundamental differences between the two. And it's not necessarily an all or nothing. Like you're either a person that pursues success or avoids failure. Usually there's some degree of both, but you tend to fall into one or the other more frequently than not. So someone that pursues success will take on things that kind of fall right in the middle as far as how they challenge you, where they will meet your kind of expertise or your skill level or your ability, or they'll just be right above it. So they will challenge you, and you're not going to win all the time. That you might lose or come up short or not have a favorable outcome, half the time, but it pushes you. It pushes you incrementally. It's not impossible, whatever you're trying to take on, but you end up finding that those individuals in that profile take on something that falls somewhere in the middle, where it's at your ability level, at your skill level, or slightly above it. Um, People that avoid failure will either take on things that are extremely hard, nearly impossible. So at the end of the day, when you don't reach it or you don't get to it, or there's not that favorable outcome, you could sit there and say, well, no one would be able to do it, or there was never a chance that you wouldn't have been able to succeed at it. You wouldn't be able to accomplish it. And so there's almost ease and comfort in being able to do that. Um, or you take on extremely easy tasks where losing or coming up short or not reaching whatever that goal is, um, isn't really a reality that you're going to win almost close to 100% of the time. Um, and and so you keep things either really easy or nearly impossible. Um, so with comfort, I think you can look at it as a pursuing versus avoiding type thing. Some people, they think I'm comfortable with how things are. Um, well, that might be true based off of the world that you've kind of created for yourself, the reality that you've created for yourself, and how all of this stuff that's going on right now fits in. But what might not be true is that when you might not have the same exposure to discomfort. And so when you experience that discomfort, then you might want to avoid feeling that way. And so in order to avoid feeling that way, you need to revert back to a state of comfort. And so you find, whatever it is that you do, whether it's been stuff that you've been doing your entire life, or it's new things because of the current situation, uh, that you end up reverting back. But it's less of a I am pursuing comfort and more of a I'm avoiding discomfort. And so the avoiding discomfort, the outcome might be the same. You get in your mind, the outcome is I get to a state of comfort. But the mode that you get there and the thing that drives you and motivates you to do it, avoidance versus something that's more assertive and pursuing, that's very different. It has very different implications. So what I want to kind of challenge you with is to think, especially now, as things are reopening and the state at which they're reopening and the speed doesn't necessarily align with individuals' rate at reopening. I can personally say that there are certain things I'm not comfortable with that technically I could go out and do. And so the rate at which your personal comfort opens up in comparison to the rate at which our society and the general public are opening up, then they might not necessarily align. And everyone and every family is different with that. So what I want you to think about is, what are those things that, as far as comfort goes, what are those things that you find comfortable right now? When you experience stress, when you experience discomfort, and you want to get away from it, what do you revert back to? What do you do? Do you stay inside your house? Do you start watching TV? Do you start eating? Do you go to bed? Do you do a task that isn't challenging, that's kind of mindless and mechanical, so you're able to compartmentalize and push off those things you don't want to be feeling or thinking about or exposing yourself to? What are those small things that you do to feel comfortable when you feel discomfort? And then try to assess a little bit of how frequently do you avoid discomfort versus pursue comfort. Because pursuing comfort that's a hamster wheel. Okay, you could buy all that you want on Amazon to make life more comfortable, make life a little bit easier for you, for your family, for those around you, and then something else is going to come out. Something else is going to be, a new product is going to be offered, something that's going to make it even easier. So that's a hamster wheel in itself. The chasing comfort, being a hamster wheel, and the avoiding discomfort. At the end of the day, the long play here, where you're going to get the most bang out of your buck, is to assess the avoidance of the discomfort. And what is the real discomfort there? What are you really avoiding here? And this isn't saying go out and tackle all of that and take it head on all at once, because that there's negative. There could be plenty of negative implications there. So I just want you to assess it at this point. Do you feel like you are someone that pursues comfort or avoids discomfort? And how frequently does that come up? And what are those things that you do to sustain and create that comfort around you? So do some thinking about it and see what you come up with. And then the next step outside of that is trying to challenge some of those thoughts of is the discomfort really what I think it is? Is this discomfort really as threatening? And lay it out there. This is a good time to do some introspection and reflection on this, on previous experiences and how they turned out with the discomfort when you were exposed to it and couldn't get out of it. This is a good exercise to actually write down. So if you want to use this as a journal exercise about the times that you've avoided discomfort and therefore tried to get back into a zone of comfort, versus just saying, you know what, I can be comfortable right now. I can let my guard down. So do a journal article about it, lay the thoughts out there and try to challenge them a little bit, but see where you're at right now. All right, well, have a good day and I'll talk to you soon.